All right, we're back. We are live on X. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. Guys, everybody will give folks a minute to filter in, but be sure to tag a friend. Be sure to like this video, share this video, and we'll get started here in just a moment.
I'll tell you what, Brett, there have been so many people signing up for Clarity Home that I think some people are like, there's a waiting line right now to get it done. Like it's unbelievable. Pretty cool.
That
Pretty cool.
QR code is up there in the top left, and it's. I'm going to tell you why it's important, and it's important because you're going to be getting advance notice this evening. A couple of things, Matt sent out. It's 3:30. These storms are firing off. You can see it here on the satellite and all the severe warnings and the tornado warnings into Illinois at this point. Matt went ahead and issued a custom BAM tornado watch earlier to give folks a heads up on the Clarity platform.
Yep.
There's a lot of outdoor events this evening, from schools to concerts, you name it. And so we're trying to give clients on Clarity as advanced notice as possible. We also have, I'll go over here, we also have a BAM tornado warning that we issued because of rotation that we're seeing with this storm. And so this is actually in the St. Louis metro area, just north of the St. Louis airport. You can see all the lightning here, which is an add-on feature on Clarity for the business subscription. You can see all the lightning here, but issued a BAM tornado warning because of rotation that we're seeing here. Rotation is radar indicated very large hail of 2-inch plus diameter, wind gusts of 60 miles per hour. Would recommend seeking shelter if you are in the St. Louis metro area right now. And again, that's something that our team is monitoring for and sending out these advanced alerts directly to everybody's devices.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Um, well, Brett, why don't you take us through again for those of you just coming on, share it with a friend, tag a friend, repost. Um, why don't you take us through kind of the setup right now? What kind of energy are we working with? What does it look like around here?
Yeah, I'm going to start here, Michael. And I'm going to show number one, the instability building in. We'll zoom in here. That's 5,500 joules per kilogram of CAPE here in Western Kentucky and Southeast Missouri, which I mean, Michael, I can't really remember the last time we've had that much instability, especially in May.
A little while. Sure.
It's insane. We
Yeah.
do not get, I can't emphasize this enough. We don't get this much instability in the atmosphere in the Ohio Valley very often,
Yeah.
especially not in spring. And so these storms are moving into an environment that is absolutely ripe for intense thunderstorms. And what I had on here a moment ago, we can look at the hail size, this indicator here, basically indicating what the max potential hail size is with storms that develop. And this gray color basically indicating that any storms that develop over this could produce up to 4-inch diameter hail. Grapefruit sized hail is what we talked about earlier. You can see that signal already beginning to develop once storms fire off in southern and central Indiana as well.
Yeah, pretty wild. I mean, I think that that environment in and of itself is infecting or moving in towards the area. Um, so it's nothing to sleep on. This stuff's already on the radar. It's moving in. It's moving east at about 60 miles per hour. So we're 3 to 4 hours out right now from getting into Indiana. So um, yeah,
Yeah, I saw this question here I wanted to address real quick. Does it show rain precipitation in different zip codes? It does. So you can basically put in your address and it'll give you location specific rain totals being forecasted. If you want the observed rainfall, that's on the ag or the business version of the Clarity platform. So this here, what I have pulled up, this is the violent tornado parameter. Based off of the current setup, you can see some of these storms moving through here, working through an environment that is highly conducive to the potential for violent tornadoes. And I think, Michael, we're seeing that here. We've got 3 tornado warnings active. In fact, there we go. There's the tornado warning from the National Weather Service now in St. Louis. And so Matt, or I think it was John, sent that out, I don't know, 10 minutes ago or more. They
Yeah.
were able to give folks in the St. Louis metro area a 10-minute heads up compared to what the National Weather Service sent out here. We now have a tornado warning issued for the St. Louis metro area. We can turn on the rotation tracks here. You can see back here all this rotation that's been going on in this particular storm. And if we take a look at the hail tracks as well, oh my goodness, Michael. There is some insane hail right now ongoing that is going to really cause some destruction in the St. Louis metro area. This is one of the biggest hail signals I've ever seen on Clarity. If we click on this, this is 3.68, 3.69 inch diameter hail right now heading right into the St. Louis metro area. And so you can see, I mean, you can see the roads in here as this moves through. And so just an extremely intense thunderstorm moving into the St. Louis metro area, a potential tornado as well with this. And guys, this is just the beginning. These storms are just getting more and more intense. They're continuing to work into an environment that is conducive for this type of extreme hail, tornadoes, and damaging winds. And if we turn on the radar loop here, you can see they just continue to fire off. They continue to intensify. They are heading in our direction here.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I'm looking at some of the data, Brett, and some of this data is reluctant to take this linear. It's trying to keep it more individually, individual and cell wise. It's certainly very interesting.
Yeah.
I have on my screen here, I have Clarity's future radar pulled up. I'd like to show that and kind of just real quick, because this is so right now. This is we'll go to current radar, and you can see what I'm looking at here currently. Okay, that's what Brett's talking about going on, coming into the Missouri Illinois state line, and you can kind of see how they've been able to maintain kind of an individual like structure to them. And when you look at the forecast, this kind of continues to be a little bit of a trend. It's not bad initialization there already either. Um, but let's watch this as it goes forward. You can see as it gets to the state line, it still tries to kind of indicate the ability to remain somewhat discreet. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see as we go forward, that's 6:30. There's 7 p.m. Come out just a little bit. I'm going to turn these off. And again, it's not as suggestive as a big line as what it was. Now, I'm not saying it won't be, but some of the latest trends have really tried to keep this a little bit more um, single cellular, if you will, which could increase the tornado threat.
Yeah,
Um,
I was going to say, that might limit the more intense, 80, 90 mile per hour wind potential. Might
yeah,
shove that a little bit further south, but that would greatly increase the potential for very large hail and again a tornado. Look at the hooks
yeah,
that some of the cells are showing up there in central southern Indiana and northern Kentucky. I mean,
yeah,
this would be bad. This would be bad from a hail and a tornado perspective for sure if this verifies.
yeah. And again, I don't, it's we have the. In fact, why don't you pull up the warn on and kind of look at if you have that being plotted, the warn on
Grab a
can
new
really
one.
help us. This is a rapidly updating high resolution computer model. We get updates in every 30 minutes, and it can really kind of help give us an indication of where these storms are going to be the strongest and have the most potential of rotation. And gosh, look at Southern Illinois and Kentucky and Tennessee. I mean, it's just
And
unbelievable.
and I would argue, I'm curious if the new run's starting to correct that this is verifying maybe a little bit too far south right
South.
now.
Mm-hmm. No,
Um,
disagree.
it definitely is highly some of these right movers that it's showing with the updraft helicity. What we're showing here, basically rotation tracks, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
um, indicating the highest tornado potential still southern Indiana, northern Kentucky, into western Tennessee. I would argue that the previous run did not see what's going on in St. Louis very well. So I'm wondering if the atmosphere is maybe becoming a little bit more juiced, if you will, a little bit more unstable, if you will, a little bit further north than what some of the data is seeing right now.
Yeah, which we kind of tried to talk about that earlier. It's something that these models are only going to be so good. I mean, the setup screams severe weather. It's not a question of if, just when at this point.
Yeah,
You could probably find about every solution you wanted to find if you look at simulated radar. But bottom line is we've got what we need, and these storms, they like to ride the gradients of the greatest instability, and that's going to be along, from I-70 all the way from Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. That's along and south of I-70. So um, there's certainly going to be some intense storms, um, rather widespread, despite model guidance, I think, that moves through the area.
yeah, this is the max wind gust potential on this Warren on the run that's gone all the way out at this point. And it's showing, what is this, a max velocity of 83 knots here, with a storm that it moves through. Let's see, what is that? Lawrence County there, Bedford area. And this is a pretty widespread, 60 to 70 knot plus wind signal across central and southern Indiana. There's no doubt about it.
This
Oh
is an
gosh.
interesting image that one of our meteorologists
Yeah.
sent to us, and he says
Oh,
what not to do. I'm guessing this is going into St. Louis
St.
metro
Louis.
area, possibly. That is traffic right now, out ahead of a storm that could produce over 3-inch hail and a tornado.
Yeah,
Um,
and what people are doing here, Michael, people are stopping under the overpass, maybe to stay out of the hail. I hope they're not going under there to try to avoid the tornado, because that's the worst place that you can possibly be in a tornado, is under an overpass.
yeah, it certainly looks like and what a selfish thing to do, to
Yeah.
trap all of those people behind you because you want to hang out under the bridge. There's a chance I'd put my truck in 4-wheel drive and stomp on the gas and push people out of the way. I'm not sure though. I don't know that I would be reasonable in that. So wow, that's crazy. Crazy
Uh,
look. Yeah, you don't want to do that. That's not the answer there.
Here is the real quick, and then we'll show a sim radar and a radar update. Here's the max hail size on this particular model, and so it kind of takes the biggest hail, which is 2.5 to 3 inch diameter, 3.5 inch diameter hail, across the Ohio River in southern Indiana, southern Illinois, southeast Missouri, kind of from what just north of Paducah here, out towards Louisville, in terms of very very large hail. But you can see it still puts in some very large hail along and south of I-70 too.
Brett, if we can, I'm just looking at the 18ZH triple R. It just really probably makes sense based on what we're seeing. Do we want to? We want to. I can go through some timing with this using that.
Sure. Just real quick, Michael. An update on this. I noticed the rotation signal increasing. This is right in, going crazy with my mouse here. This is right in downtown St. Louis. A very strong rotation signal. I mean, going right through the city.
Wow.
So very, very dangerous situation right now in the St. Louis metro area. If you have friends and family in this area, tag them. Be sure to please be sure to take shelter right now. If you are in this area, or if you have friends and family in the area, I mean, this is moving right along. This is what, Interstate 170 here, heading out towards the city, and then I think this is Interstate 55. Maybe there's a ton of interstates in downtown St. Louis, but this is heading right for the city.
Yep. Yep. So
Uh,
let's take a look at some timing here.
is this updated? Is the 18Z into clarity yet, Michael?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't think so. And I don't think it is. I'm not sure. You might check and see. I don't know. I think you
I'll
might be
look
able to
real quick.
check in the background and see if it is of the admin settings. Could be. Um, if it is, let me know.
I will let you know.
But this is the 18Z sub hourly HRRR, and it might be Brett. What I
I think
showed
it is.
might have been that. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think it is updated.
Okay, let me turn on the clarity future radar, guys, so you guys can see that um, versus this one. Let me go back to my screen here. Can you see Claire? Is that what I have on?
Yep, clarity. Yep.
Yeah, there she be. Okay, so again, you can see what I'm talking about here, and then kind of trying to keep these a little isolated in nature. Yeah, that it literally just came in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tad bit different. So let's look at timing. Let's look at timing. This is we're going to come to 6 p.m. and you can see is it's coming across the state line of Illinois and Indiana. And one thing I want you guys to understand again is these are simulated radar products. All right, these it's not as if they are the takeaway. It's not going to look or guaranteed to be exactly like this. You know what I'm saying? Um, so just make sure we understand that. This is just an idea of timing. I understand they're saying there's a PDS tornado warning now. We may need to shift gears real quick in St. Louis.
Yep.
Tornado
Hope
on the
just sent,
ground there.
Hope just
Let
sent me
me
that message. The velocity signature is getting more and more intense.
let me go over here to
Uh,
radar. Pull it
it,
up
it
for you.
looks like, from what Brian just showed, it looks like there's a tornado on the ground. Yeah, look at the debris ball there on that
Yeah, I'm going
last
to go
scan
to
you had.
the correlation coefficient. There it is. Holy moly!
Yeah, there's
Um,
a probably a large and dangerous tornado on the ground. It looks like it's just north of the city.
yep, right along and north of 70. They're getting into Granite City, going to be coming up along the Interstate 5570 corridor there, and getting down into 255 that runs north to south. But yeah, you can certainly see just north here of St. Louis Metro. There's a large indication there of a tornado on the ground with that correlation coefficient. So great job by the BAM team there, getting that warning out long ago, making sure folks are ready for that. But that is moving. Let's see here. That is going to be damage threat considerable, tornado observed. It's a particularly dangerous situation, advising to seek shelter now. It is moving east at 50 miles per hour. So let me turn on the cell mode here, and let's pro- project this out at 50, so you guys can kind of see the areas we're most concerned with rotation. 95,000 people in the path. You've got gosh, 357, Putinville, Pleasant Ridge 4 o'clock, Maryville 403, um, Mount Station 406. See Marine there at 416. So certainly if anybody's watching or know anyone out in that area, make sure we are taking that one rather seriously. All right. So I'm going to get back into timing out this wave for a lot of the folks that are around watching closer to home here. This is a look at again the latest future radar product. I want to take it to 6 o'clock, and you can see what's happening here as this is these storms are approaching the state line. 6 o'clock, and then as we go forward, there's 6:30. And again, I would imagine the way this latest run looks, the hail risk and the tornado risk may be a little bit more elevated, Brett, versus prior to a few hours ago. We were really worried about wind. We may
Sure.
be altering that. You know,
Yeah, I mean, if that's correct, and based off what is going on right now out to the west in St. Louis, that's I think that's certainly possible. That high tornado risk, higher tornado, very large hail risk needs to come up to the I-70 corridor.
Yep.
Um, Not that wind won't be a threat at all, but if these
Yeah.
stay discrete, then we're going to be in for it, if you will, in terms of hail and tornadic threats.
Yep. Yeah. So here's 7 o'clock, Kokomo, Logansport, west side of Indianapolis, Johnson. And the timing's been consistent. I think it's 7 to 8 o'clock across the central portion of the state. Bloomington, Vincennes, Evansville. Here's 7:30. Watch a secondary area develop. Here's the first one that passes through Indy. A second one comes through at 8 o'clock. Which would really enhance the local flooding threat as well. If we're going to have some cells training like that, um, very interesting nonetheless. I mean, I think regardless, the message is right now, in 3 hours, just anticipate, essentially getting rocked, if you will. That would need to be the overall message to send out. It's not really, like I said, a question of if right now. It's just a question of when. So there's 8 o'clock. Right, you can see it kind of advancing eastward in the eastern part of the state, and then here we go to 8:30. Okay, and here is 9 p.m. Again, we're still seeing lingering individual cells there, a little bit more linear in nature. 9 o'clock across southeastern Indiana, but look down here. I mean, gosh, look into western Tennessee and Kentucky too. Another round goes through there. Just another wave of really nasty thunderstorms and wind and hail, probably all a big concern. So, um, guys, just for the record, you can go to bamwx.com and you can get access to the forecast radar, to what I'm showing you right now, by just going down and looking at that Clarity Home subscription, 99 for the year, and you can access everything I'm talking about.
Yeah, so I'm looking real quick at the significant tornado parameter on the HRRR. And one thing I'm noticing, the tornado right now, this is the significant tornado parameter. So you can click around and see it's high, it's elevated, but this particular cell is honestly in an area where the SIGTOR signal was not that high, which again has me concerned that data right now is too far south with this threat in terms of the tornado threat. Because if you already have a tornado risk up here, kind of on the edge, and we take this out a couple of hours, this is 7 p.m. So as these storms are coming in, number one, the significant tornado parameter is off the charts in southwestern and southern Indiana. I mean, this is crazy. One of the highest that I've seen in some time. But if it's a county or two too far south, then we've got to consider that this area is also going to be under the gun in terms of the more significant tornado threat.
Well, it's kind of like I said too. I think riding that gradient, the theta axis there and the moisture gradient, I think is why that's probably needs to be a little bit more talked about this evening. Is there's probably a potential here for a little bit more tornado activity across central Indiana than what we thought originally. Right now, with just what we're seeing. So as you're highlighting there perfectly, that's a suggestion of two to four, or well, let's say 3 to 5 distinct cells that could be producing long tract tornadoes at this
Mhm.
point.
Yeah, so you can see this. What we're showing here basically are what we call updraft helicity, or basically the rotation that's able to happen in the updraft of these storms as they move through. Because they're staying more discrete, what happens is you have one here, you've got one here, you've got another one here, you've got another one down here. You get 4 or 5 discrete cells rather than a more widespread line of destructive winds, if you will. But this would greatly amplify the tornado threat. And you can see individual cells all the way up to, really, this one tracks right along the I-70 corridor. This one has one through Bloomington. This one has one through, gosh, what is this here? Salem and Jasper down here. And then another one right along the Ohio River. Now, don't take these verbatim, Where exactly these storms track, we'll have to watch as they move a little bit closer. But I think the takeaway here is if you're in this circled area, your tornado threat is increasing right now, especially between the 6 to 8, 6 to 9 p.m. time frame.
Yep. Yep. I agree completely. That's a strong signal there in Monroe, Brown County. Whew, that's wild.
Which, by the way, guys, there's not any science to this necessarily, but this area has been the area this year for whatever reason.
Uh huh. Yep.
I think
Yep.
Columbus has had 2 or 3 tornadoes this year, and
Yep.
so this has been the area. So take that for what you will. There's not any science that says that it will happen over and over again in the same area, but it is interesting nonetheless that the data is seeing that.
Well, it's a great point to pause and let folks know location specific alerts tonight are going to be critical. Not often we have a moderate risk in the area. Not often we see this type of signal coming through Indiana and Illinois and portions of Kentucky and Tennessee. So uh, make sure you have the ability to get those. Clarity Home offers that. I know I keep talking about it, but I mean, guys, I mean, I can't even tell you how many people are just banging us up on the website with signups of Clarity Home. It's needed. It's a great way to keep your family safe. And it comes down to, I don't know, pennies on the day to have the information and to get the information from human meteorologists. So interesting look there, nonetheless. Brett, I think we have it coming at some point soon at a new day one. In fact, that it's already out. It looks like they may have moved the moderate north a little bit.
Let's take a look. Let's see. This one isn't updated on here yet.
This one's not quite updated yet. Let me look at.
We'll give it a minute. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tornado warnings right now. And real quick, somebody asked earlier why there hasn't been a tornado watch issued yet. I don't know. We're less than 3 hours from this hitting the border, the Indiana border. That is why for clients, if you have the Clarity subscription, regardless of your subscription level, we sent out a BAM tornado watch 2 hours ago, almost hour and a half ago, to let people know about this.
Yeah, I would imagine there will be a tornado watch by, I would say, um, I don't know, within the hour. You would think would be my guess. I mean, I don't know why there wouldn't be at this point. It's just a matter of time. Like I said, our clients do have one out. We have issued one to them. We're probably going to need to maybe even look at expanding that and seeing if there's no discussions yet. I wouldn't be shocked. There'll be a discussion out here. Watch by 5 or 5:30. So
Yeah, here's 6. So just for reference, this is 2
yeah,
hours from now. Generally, what we're going to be seeing: supercell, supercell, supercell. Another, there could be more. St. Louis could be hit again.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's something to keep in mind too. This is 6:30. Somebody just asked about the racetrack. I think practice Fast Friday ends at 6. And so for those at the racetrack, we're helping out a couple of teams there at Carpenter Racing for one, helping out there. I would imagine that they're going to need to get things cleaned up very quickly because this is going to be right on their doorstep right about 7 o'clock.
We must have expanded the BAM tornado watch because people are saying they got one. Um,
There's the tornado watch.
yeah, we did. So I can actually show you guys real quick. This is kind of cool. Um,
Yep.
these are the actually
But actually,
there's actually
that's
the Weather Service
the
tornado watch.
actual, yeah, the Weather Service tornado watch.
So let me. They put that watch out without even putting an MD out. So there's the tornado watch now. Collapse that screen. It's going to go for the next 7 hours, and we'll wait for some data to come in here. It just came in. So once again, BAM, well ahead. It's kind of interesting how ahead we've been. Um, especially for central Indiana. We've had it out for a couple of hours, just getting people the heads up. A lot of events going on tonight, stuff going on at the track, concerts downtown, baseball games, track meets. I mean, there's stuff going on everywhere. And so there's a lot to talk about here. Let's see if we have, that's just the verbiage. So it's going to go until 11 p.m. And we'll wait to try and get the probabilities to populate from the Storm Prediction Center. Once the watch populates, we'll get more information on the probabilities and what the watch is looking for in terms of particular risks. But tornado watch until 11 p.m. All right, across all of Indiana, all of central and southern Indiana, tornado watch for the next 7 hours. So, if you have the application, you should have gotten it. You got ours and theirs, and we beat them by just a hair on that one. But the tornado watch in central Indiana, we beat them long ago. So again, you can go to bamwx.com to get the app and to get what you're seeing on the screen to your device. So, like I said, Brett, now it's just not if but when.
Yeah, now we just kind of wait and watch, and see how things are going. Still, they did extend that tornado warning east of St. Louis, but it's out of the downtown area. But for Edwardsville, Illinois, right now we have that tornado warning, and then a couple of those other tornado warnings further down to the south. Very large hail with all of those tornado warnings as well. And again, guys, this is what we're watching. I think the biggest thing to monitor is just, do these start to evolve into a little bit more of a cluster, or do they still stay discrete? And it's certainly, especially the southern half of these, are looking to stay pretty discrete right now, and they are moving southwest to northeast.
If we have in the wrong screen here, I'm going to give you screen share back. I'm going to check something.
Real quick, while I'm thinking about it, I wanted to throw this up on the screen because we talked about it in the last live. So while we have a moment, Michael had mentioned, if somebody wants to donate 5K, he would give you a Clarity subscription, come to your office in a Superman costume, all the fun stuff, Michael. I want to drop this here. We're at $43,514 as we do this live stream. Go to that link. You don't even have to register. If you want to register and join us tomorrow morning for the 5K, that's awesome. But we have a fundraiser going to BAM Fundraiser to try to get to $50,000 by tomorrow morning for the 5K. So for the 3,000 of you watching right now, we'd love to have you. It's all for pediatric brain cancer research in memory of Adeline Jessen, who battled an inoperable brain tumor, and for all of the kids that deal with this terrible disease. We don't want anybody to go through what she went through. And so this is all for that. So again, see if I can point. $50,000. Go to that link. There you go. Michael's got it. You're on the right side of the screen. Go there, donate, and we'd love to see you out tomorrow.
Okay, so I want to go back to Brett. I'm going to pull up my screen real quick.
Okay.
I pulled up the 18Z RRFS, and I pulled that up because it's doing initially. It's very well with that stuff going on in St. Louis, and even where it's tracking that just south of there, like that you see there. But here's what the RRFS does. This is on the state line here at 7 p.m. and then here's 8 p.m. Eastern time. And again, you can see the indications here where you have those shaded, red, ovals. Those are rotation tracks. And look at the suggestion there, too, from the RRFS in Monroe, Brown County, and but those are rotation tracks and really, really strong storms. So I would say, safe to say, the tornado threat locally has gone up. The tornado watch is a good idea. No reason to debate that at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And continuing, it looks like, by the way, Matt just went live for clients on Clarity as well for even more detail. Just got that notification.
Okay.
So, yeah, just got a notification from Matt that he's going live on Clarity too. So, real quick, I saw a couple of questions that I wanted to address here, real quick. Let's see here. Somebody asked, why do we always get bad weather at night? Typically, it's because the greatest instability happens in the late evening hours. So you continue to heat up all day long. The sun is out. It gets hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. And so the storms form and then they move across the area. They are able to linger a little bit after dark and then they weaken once you start to lose that instability. So that's why it's so common to get the most storms in the evening hours, if you will.
Brett, just can you pull up the tornado watch again? Um,
Sure.
and I'm going to go over the probabilities that I've got now for that watch and kind of what the threats are. Um, so the tornado watch you see, we're going to plot here for Indiana, Illinois. The probability of two or more tornadoes is high at 80%. The probability for one or more strong tornadoes is moderate at 60%. In the wind category, we have a high probability 80% of 10 or more wind events. And for hail, both 2 inches or greater and 10 or more is high at 80%. And then the combined severe wind hail, the probability of 6 or more combined severe wind hail events is over 95%. Um, I'm interested as to why it's not a PDS watch. The only thing that could be keeping it from that is the probability of strong tornadoes not reaching the high. Everything else is high.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very close to a PDS tornado watch. It's only off by one category, which would be labeled as a particularly dangerous situation. And I don't think it's out of the league to say that it is one, that is a dangerous situation. Being we've got observed tornadoes showing up, we've got 3-inch hail showing up already out there, and we have been sunny all day long. So those are some very aggressive probabilities for severe weather inside that tornado watch over the next few hours.
Yeah, Michael, again, as you mentioned, a new tornado observed here in southern Missouri. These are moving straight west to east, which typically indicates a very strong storm. Somebody asked what a PDS tornado watch is. That's a particularly dangerous situation tornado watch, basically highlighting the potential for significant or violent tornadoes. And so we're already seeing that. I mean, we've had damage reported in the St. Louis metro area. We've got a tornado reported here. Law enforcement confirmed a tornado south of Annapolis, Missouri. If we turn on to the hail, I mean, Michael, some of the hail with these have been crazy already. I'm going to turn off the alerts here for a moment. This storm, over almost 3-inch diameter hail down here with this storm. This one that went through St. Louis had reported over 3-inch diameter hail. Right now, 2.5-inch diameter hail. If we look up here, guys, I mean, all of these supercells producing very large hail, and that can be dangerous in and of itself. And look at the hooks on some of these down here, Michael. That's showing up on Clarity.
Woo! Nasty. Those are nasty. Yeah, Courtney, it is strange they haven't canceled that concert. I don't know. I wouldn't go to it, but I don't understand that. So, yeah.
What time was that concert again?
I think it's at 7:30.
Oh, that is the absolute worst time.
That's what I'm saying. I can't even imagine a situation of how you could possibly want to continue to run that risk. But hey, what do I know?
Here's 7. At this point, we've got strong storms, Terre Haute, down towards Evansville. Again, all discrete here.
Hope
And
says significant damage has been reported in St. Louis.
okay, significant damage reported in St. Louis with that tornado that went through there, that observed tornado. And so, it's just not going to take much with these storms. And again, if you looked at just the violent tornado parameter, that's not even the area right now that has the highest signal. And so it just goes to show anywhere in the risk area. Turn on today's outlook again. Even if you're in the orange area, which is where that tornado went through, you're at risk for very large hail and tornadoes as well.
Hmm. Well, so let's do this, Brett. Let's we've got the information out. We have the timing out. I think what we need to do is let these storms move east for another hour, hour and a half, and once they start, we start seeing warnings pop. Far eastern Illinois, western Indiana will come back. Um, we've got the timings lined out. There's a timing graphic in Clarity. There's videos out. We've got everything out we can have. So we'll start nowcasting this. I would say probably 5:30 to 6 p.m. We'll probably come back live. I would say what about 5:45? You think?
Yeah, based off the latest data, this is at the border, right about 6.
Yeah,
So yeah, probably 5:45 will be a good estimate, give or take. Give or take.
yeah. So real quick, go to bmwx.com if you want the updates sent right to your phone. Everything we have, you can get Clarity Home 99 a year to sign up, or you can, if you're a business and you need to be able to talk to us, all the other things, be sure to check out the other packages as well. This one's for the everyday person. I mean, it's flying off the shelf. So we're going to come back a little bit closer to 6. Let's call it 5:45 for now. If it needs to be earlier, we'll come back. But we'll come back, and once we come back, it's probably going to be a bit of a marathon. We may be on for a while. So we'll be around keeping you posted this evening, and keeping you ahead of the storms.
Yep, thanks guys. Yeah, go ahead and scan that QR code, sign up in the meantime for updates, team putting out all kinds of nowcasts and alerts and whatnot. And so stay safe this evening. You know, use that link there below. Go donate to the Storm Cancer 5K. Let's get to $50,000 and write them a big old check there.